Welcome back to the Ricky Harris Media Podcast. I do realize I say that every single time, don't I? Is it getting old? I don't know. You getting to these crutches. In radio, they call them crutches. And man, they are easy to do. It's like stuff you just repeat just automatically just to fill dead air. That's all it's there for. Anyway, thank you guys and gals for there's another one, for sticking around and listening to this show. I'm hoping you're enjoying it. I've gotten some feedback on it. I greatly appreciate that. I always try to put as much into these shows as I can because you deserve a good product. You do. Yeah. So, I did not mention, but hopefully you've noticed that the bass guitar in the intro has suddenly changed. And that is kind of the theme of this show. It actually is the same bass guitar physically. It's an Epiphone P bass. I've had it since I was in high school. That's what really got me into playing guitar. I've always wanted to be a guitar player, and the bass guitar was a good way to get into it. And I played in the jazz band in high school. And jazz music, some of the bass lines can be quite intricate, and that was a great learning experience and learning how to play with a live drummer, because as a bassist, you're really listening to the drummer and listening to every little nuance, because you're human beings, you're playing music, you're performing. So yeah, the tempo's going to drift a little bit. We're not playing to a metronome. We're not in the studio. We're in the band room in high school. So that was a blast. But I've had that same bass since high school, and it had the stock pickups in it. And I felt like an idiot talking to other bass players because I'm like, this bass really doesn't have a lot of treble. And they look at me like I'm crazy, and they're like, well, yeah, it's a bass. I'm like, no, but some of the basses that I hear on recordings, I'm especially then, but still now, I'm a big fan of classic rock, and I listen to the bass lines. As you play an instrument, you really kind of zone in on the bass guitar or the guitar, or whatever you're playing in any type of music that you hear. Just leave that in there. It's fine. I do like to do these shows like it's live, but I do throw a few edits in there. Let's leave that in there. Choked on my own saliva. That's nasty. Anyway, so yeah, I was like, I'm hearing a little more high end. I'm hearing the upper strings, the upper notes. I'm hearing the finger attack, the fretting. I'm just hearing more high end than my bass is producing. And I didn't know why. I've just assumed that it was, I don't know, maybe it was the strings, maybe it was something that I was seeing with my eyes. I was thinking, well, maybe it's the amplifier, maybe it's the strings. And I tried changing all of that. And later on, I learned that these were passive pickups, and I was like, I could probably change these out to active pickups. I didn't even know that was such a thing. So active and passive, they're kind of like microphones, where you've got dynamic and condenser, or sometimes they're called capacitor microphones. Basically, one requires power and one doesn't. Passive means it creates its own energy, and active means it uses the assistance of electricity. And usually you'll have a little more fidelity, a little more high end, a little more low end with active microphones or active pickups. And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. I wasn't expecting a big difference, but man, it made a world of difference. It brought in so much high end, high frequencies into the bass guitar. I actually put flat wound strings on it, which flat wound strings are usually pretty dull. They're kind of, I would say they're kind of, well, a good example is if you hear like a bluegrass band, or actually the 90s band Bare Naked Ladies, they play a big stand-up bass in this boom, boom, boom. I mean, it's just really boomy. There's not a whole lot of high end. That's what flat wounds are known for. But the flat wounds don't sound like that on this. It was like a perfect blend. In my opinion, I thought it sounded pretty cool. Actually, I'm going to go grab it right now and play it for you. And I'll compare it to a passive pickup bass. But That was a really cool upgrade. That was a DIY project. It was a kit I bought from a friend of mine and installed it in about a morning. It took about 5 hours to install. I really took my time. The hardest part was getting the pickups to align properly and go into the stock holes that mount them. That was really the hardest part, is physically mounting them into the guitar. All right, here we go. Like that wasn't 5 minutes, no. I did a little record pause there, so I got the bass hooked up. So here's what the P bass with the EMG active pickups sound like. I'm gonna play a little riff here, kind of like a little blues riff. And you see why I picked recording as my expertise. A little rusty on the bass. Let's run through that one more time with, let's play a little more staccato. But listen to the D string especially on this thing. Just so much attack and so much mid-range. I love it. And these are flat wound. Listen, I'll run my fingers across the fretboard and listen. I mean, you hear a little bit, but it's just, oh, they're smooth. It's like playing glass strings. It's just smooth. That's the way I describe it. The strings are smooth, and to me, it just has a smooth sound. One of the best upgrades I've done. And just like that, I've got the jazz bass plugged up. This is a bass that I bought from a friend of mine. And this is a really good copy of what I played in high school, which was a Fender jazz bass. This is I don't know what, but the only difference in appearance would be that it's a dark blue fading to black and a white fretboard. And the one I played in high school was black with a white fretboard, kind of your Eric Clapton look. And this one, if it's dark in the room, it looks exactly like it because the dark blue just looks black. But this has got single coils, so this is not a apples to apples comparison. This is going from active P bass to a jazz bass, which is single coils. So there should be a pretty significant difference, but listen how it compares to the bass that I just played. We'll play the same thing. Play on the open E string or open D string again. Kind of bounce between the 3rd and 5th fret again. So that is the jazz bass, and with round wound strings, so they should be brighter. And a jazz bass with single coils, it has 2 single coils, is going to be a brighter bass. So it's more suited for if you're playing some, just some really fast solo stuff. Jazz. So. That's a DIY pickup exchange on a guitar. So basically replacing the electronic guts in a bass guitar. And I got to thinking, well, why not do that with a microphone? So I am going to be very upfront with you now. This entire episode, and it's going to be this way through the entire episode, it was actually recorded with 2 microphones. And I've got them phase-aligned, which is a fancy word for putting them super close together in exactly the same distance, within reason, from your source, which is my mouth and my vocal cords and the air coming out of my mouth. So that way it hits the microphone at the exact same time. That way I can switch between them very seamlessly. So I've been switching between these microphones at the 1 minute mark. So minute 0 to minute 1 is one microphone, and minute 1 and minute 2 is another microphone. So every minute's been switching back and forth. So the very start of the show, I recorded this with a DIY microphone. It was actually my first microphone that I bought when I started getting into recording, started getting serious about it. And it was about 2002. So I've had this microphone, that entire time. And it is a really good go-to microphone if you want to get started into this. Not necessarily a business. You can actually get some decent recordings with this microphone. It's $100. I would say it's probably comparable to an SM57 as far as getting recording started. If you don't want to blow a whole bunch of money at the beginning, and I completely understand that. They're both about $100. This is the MXL 990, so it's a cardioid, which means it picks up what it sees in front, and it rejects what it is not looking at. So it's directional. And it's a condenser microphone, so it sounds really good on electric guitar. But it is notoriously noisy. It is got 20 dB of self-noise. Self-noise would just be the electronics themselves making noise. And everything you record, that's going to be in there. So you're always going to have about 20 dB of noise, which kind of sounds like hiss. And normally, with a loud source, even someone singing or playing an acoustic guitar, miking a guitar amp, drums, usually it's not an issue, but really what it comes down to is editing. And if you want to bring up a soft section, oh man, you'll hear that noise so much when you start really cranking up a soft section of music. You'll start hearing that, and I said on previous episodes, noise sounds kind of like tape hiss, but to me it's more annoying than tape hiss. It doesn't really add to the music. It just, I don't know, you can hear it and you know that that's just electronic noise that doesn't belong there. So I got to thinking, I'm going to start looking for kits to upgrade a microphone's electronics. And I found this. This is not a sponsor, but I really appreciate what they do. It's a company from Roswell Pro Audio. It's mic parts, microphoneparts.com. And this is a upgrade kit for the MXL 990. So it actually replaces the electronics, which on a condenser microphone, you'll have electronics, and it varies a lot. I went with the transformer because I wanted a microphone that was completely different from what it was before. So it actually has a transformer inside of the microphone, in addition to a MOSFET transistor, which actually acts as a little bit of a preamp, so it gives a little bit of boost, and it provides its own color to the sound. And this supposedly is supposed to give you a very classic, like 60s kind of classic condenser microphone. It's supposed to have a little grit to it. It's not perfectly replicating, the human ear, which no microphones really do completely, but it's for the most part it is. As far as frequency response goes, it's very flat, and I like the way that transformer sounds. I've listened to countless number of demos between microphones, and I started thinking the tube microphones, obviously are my favorite. I love the way tubes sound, but they're prohibitively expensive. You're looking at about $1,000 to get into the tube microphone business, or to add to your business or microphone collection. And I'm like, no, I'm not ready to do that. But I really like the way the transformer solid state microphones sound. So that's what this one is. And I built it myself, and it comes with a circuit board, with or without a mic capsule. I got it with the mic capsule. I got it with the K47 mic capsule, and what a world of difference. Wow. I will say the noise floor compared to the original 990 wasn't extremely different, but just the way it sounds, it doesn't have that sizzly bacon frying sibilance on the top end as other microphones, especially its stock electronics, which I actually still have. There's no reason why you would throw that away. I can get a can. I could literally get a soda can and put that in there, make me a soda can microphone. I mean, it still works. I actually hooked it up on the vise, soldered the mic capsule back to the board, soldered an XLR connector onto it, and there's no shielding, so it's very hummy. So you plug it in, it's like, it's just picking up everything. It's almost like an AM radio, but it still works. So it's pretty cool. So you really get another microphone. You can still use that capsule, put it in another mic body, and you're good to go. There's no reason to throw that away. But I was really happy with it, and this is one of the most satisfying things you will do, is building one of these kits, because to me it's kind of like model car building in a way, but I'd say it's probably more like putting together like a kit machine. So the pleasure of building it is just amazing, and then the satisfaction of turning it on and it works. And one of my favorite things in the description for or actually in the demo video of actually making this microphone, talk about electrolytic capacitors. Electrolytic capacitors are polarized, so they have to be installed in the right direction, especially with DC. If you solder those in the wrong way, they'll just blow up immediately. Which is bad anyway. It's like a firecracker going off. So you're like, all right, let's turn this thing on and see what it sounds like. And then a big bang. And then it leaves this stink in the room that supposedly just doesn't go away. So your studio is just going to stink forever. So if you do build one of these microphone kits or any electronic kit, I highly recommend doing it. It's very satisfying, a lot of fun. You'll learn a lot about electronics. And but don't hook those electrolytics up backwards. I freaking triple checked that. I don't want to go bang, 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 and then nothing. And I plugged it in and it worked. But I will be very upfront with you, it wasn't perfect. So I plugged it up and I was like, oh yeah, it sounds good. But I started hearing this little. It sounded like, I don't know. It sounded like a cricket in the background. I was like. At first, I thought my phone was interfering with it, so I moved my phone away from it, way far away from it, put it in airplane mode, all that stuff. Nope. Well, maybe the interface is interfering with it. To me, it sounded like something digital was interfering with it. Turn the interface off. Nope. Well, maybe it's the monitor. Turn the monitor off. Nope. Turn the computer off. Nope. Turn these lights off in here. Supposedly, I've got a lot of LED lights, and I turned those off. Supposedly, the switching power supplies in them will introduce noise in the audio. It's completely dark in here. Still doing it. I'm like, what? I was thinking, oh, it's probably picking up its own noise. So I had one of the mic leads a little bit too long. So I took it back apart, shortened that mic lead up, because at that point, those two lines going to the microphone capsule are not balanced. They will act like an antenna. So they need to be as short as possible. So I went in and shortened that up. It was a little more pain to assemble, but just shortened it up about a half inch and soldered it back in. And classic engineering mistake, but I didn't really care. You change two things and now you don't know what fixed it. So, but whatever. I knew between both of them, one of them would fix the noise issue. It acting like a receiver picking up radio frequency or something, electromagnetic interference. I grounded it. I tightened up the connections, the screws that do two things. They actually mount the PCB into the microphone body, but they also ground it. And I was thinking, I don't think the basket's getting a good ground, so I had to take this microphone back apart again and realize the paint job that I did on it was probably keeping the basket from getting grounded. It actually has a metal ring in the two sections where they unscrew. There's a metal ring in there, so I scratched all the paint off, even the factory paint. I just scratched it all back to the bare aluminum or whatever it is. It looks like aluminum, and it's perfectly silent. I can turn it all the way up, and actually, can I do that right now? Yeah, I can. I can turn it up on the tube. I got it running through the tube preamp, so here we go. Ooh, it's still there a little bit. I think that is my phone there. You hear that? But that is really, really hot. I have to talk as quiet as possible, and I'm still getting a good level. So, yeah, I'm very happy with that. So, mic parts, check it out. Just Google mic parts, and it is awesome. Definitely do it. You will not be dissatisfied. You will be very, very satisfied. I don't know what this is. Where did that voice come from? It's like an old 40s commercial, 40s radio commercial. You will be very satisfied. All right, well, thanks for listening to the Ricky Harris Media Podcast. And if you want to add anything to the show or want to be on the show, hit me up. The best way to hit me up is just make a comment on the YouTube version of this show. It is Ricky Harris Media on YouTube, @ Ricky Harris Media. Or you can hit me up on Facebook, search Richard Harris Podcast, Ricky Harris Media. Should be able to find me. Or Twitter, Ricky Radio. Thanks for listening, everybody. See you guys next month. And gals. Later.